Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the darkly comedic tale of a king so obsessed with cheating death that he walked right into its arms. This is the incredible and, frankly, pretty bizarre story of the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram, though you probably know him better as the Tiger King.
So our story kicks off with this totally astonishing statement. Now you'd think this was a king speaking, maybe some wise old advisor, but who actually said it? Well, that's the very first twist in this wild tale.
You heard that right. The infant prince, Jalani Jung Bahadur, not even 2 weeks old, spoke those words, clear as day. The whole room just froze. He was literally questioning the royal astrologers who were there to predict his future.
So the chief astrologer lays it all out. See, the prince was born in the hour of the bull. And since the bull and the tiger are enemies, well, his death would have to come from a tiger. This one single prediction is going to shape his entire life and set him on a collision course with fate.
But instead of being scared, this 10-day-old baby lets out a deep, terrifying growl. And he issues this challenge, a promise that basically echoes from his cradle. And just like that, the stage was set.
Okay, hold on a sec. Before we go any further, we gotta talk about this idea, dramatic irony. It's basically the engine that makes this whole story work. See, we, the audience, are in on a giant cosmic joke that the king himself is totally blind to. So let's just keep that in our back pocket as we see how this all plays out. So, fast forward. The prince turns 20, he takes the throne, and that astrologer's prediction still ringing in his ears. But instead of hiding, he decides to face it head-on, launching a campaign that was, well, you could say it was ambitious. His logic was kind of simple and also completely nuts. If a tiger was going to be the cause of his death, he would just get rid of all the tigers. He truly believed that if he could just kill 100 of them, he could beat the prophecy and control his own destiny.
So after he bags his first tiger, he calls in a state astrologer, probably feeling pretty smug. But the astrologer doesn't even flinch. He just gives him this chilling warning, saying, look, the real danger, the true test of fate, isn't the 99. It's that final 100th tiger.
And you know that vow the king made? To only deal with other state business after killing 100 tigers? Well, yeah, that started to cause some, let's just say, unusual problems. His single-minded obsession led to one absurd and costly decision after another.
I mean, just look at how this whole thing snowballed. He banned tiger hunting for everyone else, sure, but then he put the entire kingdom at risk. A high-ranking British officer wanted to go on a hunt, and the king just flat out says no, nearly causing a diplomatic crisis. His solution? He bribes the officer's wife with 50 diamond rings, costing the state a fortune, all to keep his tiger-killing quest exclusive. And you know what? He was brutally good at it. In just 10 years, he'd killed 70 tigers. But his success created a brand new problem. He had literally hunted the tigers in his own kingdom into extinction.
So he needs 30 more tigers, but there are none left. What do? Stop? Maybe reflect on things? Nope. His solution was to order his chief minister to find him a wife. But not just any wife, he needed a princess from a kingdom that had a ton of tigers, all so he could finish his list. And the craziest part? The plan actually worked. Every single time the Maharaja visited his father-in-law, he'd kill 5 or 6 tigers. Before long, the number of tiger skins on his palace walls hit 99. He was just 1 kill away from what he thought was immortality. So, with just 1 tiger to go, the Maharaja's anxiety just went through the roof. It's all he could think about. He got so angry and paranoid that he started firing his own officers and threatening to double the land tax. The entire kingdom was on edge. So the Diwan, his chief minister, is probably sweating bullets at this point, worried about his job and, the whole kingdom. So in a last-ditch effort, he secretly gets this old tame tiger from a public park, drags it into the forest, and basically shoves it out of his car for the king to find. The very next day, the old tiger just kind of wanders into the king's path. The king takes careful aim, fires, and the tiger just collapses. He's absolutely euphoric, shouting that he's done it, that he's finally beaten destiny itself. He tells his men to bring the tiger back to the capital in a huge procession, then he speeds off in his car. But as the hunters get closer to the animal, they realize something is very, very wrong.
And this moment right here, it shows you everything about the kind of fear he ruled with. The king's bullet had missed completely. The old tiger just fainted from the shock of the sound. But the hunters knew that telling the king he failed would cost them their jobs. So one of them just takes out his own gun and shoots the tiger dead. The cover-up was on.
So the king thinks he's home free, totally safe, immortal, the whole deal. And for the first time in years, he actually has time for his family. His son's 3rd birthday was coming up, and he finally turned his attention from hunting to being a dad.
He's looking around for a special present and spots this wooden tiger in a toy shop. It's not some fancy, well-made toy. It's cheap, carved by someone who wasn't very skilled, and it has this rough surface with tiny little slivers of wood sticking out all over it like quills.
So, on the birthday, the king and his son are playing with this new toy tiger. And as they're playing, one of those tiny, sharp slivers pokes the Maharaja in his right hand. He's annoyed, pulls it out, and just keeps on playing. Thinks it's nothing.
But it was not nothing. The very next day, his hand gets infected, and within 4 days, that infection turns into this massive, life-threatening sore that spreads all the way up his arm. 3 famous surgeons had to be flown in from Madras for an emergency operation.
And in the ultimate, most perfect twist of dramatic irony, the surgeons walk out of the operating room and announce this. The operation was successful. The Maharaja is dead. The man who killed 99 real tigers was brought down by a tiny sliver from a cheap wooden one. The 100th tiger had its revenge after all.
So, this amazing story leaves us with this one big question to chew on. Is this all just a story making fun of arrogant, powerful people who think they're above it all? Or is it something deeper? A timeless warning that no matter how rich or powerful you are, you just can't cheat fate.